the White House. Weekly Standard editor Bill Kristol joins us right now. Well, that would be a little different. Explain.
Well, Barack Obama was a little different.
You're right about that.
No, I was at an event with Paul Ryan yesterday, sponsored by the Manhattan Institute and E21, the economic policy think tank, and Paul Gigot interviewed Paul Ryan for about an hour. And Ryan was just terrific. And I thought, you know, why shouldn't Paul Ryan be the presidential candidate? He's been in Washington. This is his 7th term in the House. He will have been in Washington in the Congress as long as John Kennedy, as long as Bill Clinton was governor of Arkansas. He's an absolute master of the budget process. He's sound, from my point of view, on foreign policy and on social issues. I just seen Marco Rubio give a speech a little bit before. He's terrific. Ryan, Rubio, what's not to like about it?
Some people switch it around and say Rubio, Ryan.
Well, either way, I'm open to that. I think Ryan has a little more experience in Washington, and I think he's a year older, you know, and age matters, Neil. So I think we want to go with that. And it would be exciting. And I've been struck, and I put up this little post. It was a little lighthearted, but I get people thinking about it at least yesterday on the Weekly Standard website. The amount of response has been amazing. I mean, tons of emails, you know, yes, way to go. Why can we get them to do it? Where do I send my contribution? You know, just real enthusiasm. And it does strike me there's a little bit, maybe this is always the case, but there's a little bit of unhappiness with some of the front runners, a little bit of a yearning for really fresh faces and for real change and for real reform. And I do think Paul Ryan and Marco Rubio sort of embody that.
But obviously, from Paul Ryan, I remember talking to him with the new Congress switchover. He, as House Budget Committee chief, is the guy who has to lead this spending cut zeal. And there have been some disappointment expressed in Washington, especially among more conservative members, those Tea Party types. We had one at the top of the show. Well, not a fan of this more tentative early on cutting that's going on. Now, but we know for a lot of reasons, but they wanted something big, and as the Budget Committee chief in the House, he's not providing big. What do you think?
He is providing big. You should have heard him yesterday, Neil. And, you know, look at the numbers. He is going to cut more in the House Republican budgets, which he has to get passed through the House. People can talk. He's got to get 218 votes. I predict those budgets will have the deepest spending cuts of any budget that passes any House of that's passed any House of Congress, certainly since '95, but I would actually predict since 1981, and maybe in the last 50 years. Paul Ryan will cut the budget. Paul Ryan also believes we need a strong national defense. And look, I don't know. Paul Ryan says he doesn't want to run for president, and the thing he's got to focus on for the next 6 to 9 months is doing a great job as House Budget Committee chairman. So I figure I'll just take it upon myself to get the Ryan.
Well, you got it going, and that's why you have it. You know, this type of stuff is always, it's always
Paul
fun.
does his job. Paul does his job, and I just get the little boomlet going. You know,
right. We're just having fun here and all, because that's what happens this time of year. But I am wondering whether this cutting, and let's say he does get the House to agree to some of these huge cuts you're talking about, you hear on the Senate side it's a lot tougher. You hear certainly with the president it isn't going to go far. So the problem is getting anything done much past the House. What do you say?
I think they can get more spending restraint out of the Senate and even out of the president than people may expect. But people also have to be realistic. Republicans only control one body of Congress, and even that, there are some Republicans among that majority who aren't such avid relimiters of government. But I think Republicans can get some things done and can lay down markers for what they would do if the right person were president, whether that person is Paul Ryan, Marco Rubio, or someone else.
All right. Well, you got some buzz going. Bill Kristol, thank you very much. Good seeing you. Who knows? That could be the ticket. Meanwhile, he rolled the dice.